Hey, we may not be able to get our kids to the hairdresser right away, so here's some help. We have stylist Abby Robertson with some lessons on how to give our kids' hair a much needed trim. Take a look.
For this tutorial, you will need scissors and a comb. You will want hair cutting scissors. They do not need to be expensive, but any old at-home scissors will not do the trick. They say fabric scissors are the next best thing, but they still do not cut hair very well. I would try to order some on Amazon or Sally Beauty Supply.
Okay, now we're gonna cut Darla's bangs. And specifically with kids, it might be best to just do them dry since they tend to shrink up. And I would start with a very, very little amount so that, you know, you can always cut more, but you don't want to cut too much. And we actually just cut hers, so I'm not going to do very much, but you want to go like, have your fingers maybe right at the eyebrow and cut right underneath there and cut upward rather than like, if you go like this, you can make a real funky line. And then just go across. Sometimes it'd be better too to have like a clip, to clip that back, to keep it out of your way so that you don't cut it. But for sake of time, I'm just gonna push it back. And then kind of angle it down a little bit so that it's a little longer on the sides where your temples are. And if you end up wanting to straighten that out, you can. But again, it's best to see if you like it longer first so that then you can always go shorter. All right, you're all done.
All right, we have Lucy here and we're gonna give her a little trim. And we're gonna first start with her natural part. And normally cosmetology school will tell you to use a middle part, but in this specific scenario, I would do their natural part just so that it lays the way you cut it every day rather than laying funky if you cut it down the middle. If their hair tends to part both ways, then go ahead and part it down the middle. So first you want to part off the back from the sides, and you want to start from the top of the head and just make a straight line right down to the back of the ear. And separate the front from the back. So something very important is getting down on their level. So I would either put them on a stool that's high enough for you to be at eye level with them, or just have them stand up and get down on your knees so that you're right in level with their hair. So we put the sides of her hair in front of her shoulders and the back behind. And you're gonna have them look straight down to the ground. And then you're gonna pull tightly on their hair and use your index finger and your middle finger to follow behind the comb and pull tightly and cut right below the index and middle fingers. And use a little bit from that first section to use as a guide for how to cut the next section. And it might be helpful to use, like, have them put on a horizontally striped shirt to try and keep in line, because cutting a straight line is definitely the hardest part of cutting hair, to be honest, because it seems so simple, but it is so easy to mess it up. Now when you go to the side of the hair, you want to have them look straight forward rather than down to the ground. And you want to pull apart from the back with the piece from the front and obviously cut it to match the back. And you want to make sure that they don't tilt their head with you while you're cutting. Make sure they keep it nice and straight rather than going like this or something. And then do the other side. Now when you get to the front of the hair, you would pull equal amounts from each side forward and make sure it looks pretty even. I wouldn't get too hung up on it being too crazy even, because you will end up with much shorter hair than you anticipated, because that is, again, the hardest part. Cutting a straight line and keeping it all even is much trickier than we all think.
Thank you, Mom.